get his way. I mean, I did it my way. What does it say in John 14:6? Oops. What does it say in John 14:6? How many can quote that scripture without looking at it? What does it say? I am the way, the way, the way,
Truth.
the truth,
And the light.
and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way. There is no other way. He is the way. Man's way does not count. No church's way counts. Jesus is the way. Our Burger King mentality makes it our way. You love me my way. You got to accept me the way I am. Heck, people that get married on it, you got to change when you get married? Or am I wrong? Dating and marriage are two different things. We date you to get you married. Or am I wrong? We put on our best clothes and makeup. We put on our best suits. We don't burp and fart in front of you. When we go to the, you know what I'm saying? Or am I wrong?
That's true.
We don't show you the real us until, does this make sense? Until after we're married.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll get another frame. But Jesus is the way. I am the way. Burger King mentality says my way. Why is that relevant? If you go to 2 Chronicles 7, why do you think God says, if my people? Why did he say that? Because here's the thing, and we talked about this before we even started. We have this thing called spirit and flesh. The spiritual man wants to do right. The fleshly man wants to drag you down. The spiritual man always wants to please God. The fleshly man wants to please ourselves. The spiritual man is the man that counts. The fleshly man does not count. The spiritual man is connected to Christ. The fleshly man is connected to the world. Amen? The fleshly man wants what it wants. The spiritual man wants what Christ wants. My pastor never taught me that. Well, then he's not a pastor. Oh, did I say that? He's not a pastor. Uh-oh. Burger King mentality. My way. I want to have it my way. With onions, without onions. Extra mayonnaise, extra pickles. I want to add to it. Burger King mentality. I get it when I want it. God, I know you're going to bless me, but hold on. I got to do something and you're not going to like it. Excuse me. I got to do this. And I know you're not going to like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the corner. I'm going to hide. Can you see me? God says, I see every cotton picking thing you do.
That's a fact, yeah. You can't hide from it.
If you don't want my blessing, then you'll never get to my blessing, God says. You don't put me on hold. I'm not an operator. You do not put me on hold, God says. How dare you treat God that way? How dare you treat the creators of the heavens and earth that way? How dare we treat Almighty God that way? I get it when I want it or when I feel like it. That's what happened to the nation of Israel here. God was threatening to wipe them out. God was threatening them to take away their food, take away their crops, to take away their health. And God says, I can do it too, and I won't think twice about it. Here's the thing about God. We can never escape God. Well, Pastor, no. Let me repeat that again. You can never escape God. That means that once you're a Christian, you're His child for life. You cannot tell God, like some people do, I'm going to go away for a while and I'll be back. God says, you know, wherever you go, I'm going to follow you. Well, I'm going to go do this, and if I anger you, forgive me in advance. This is not a credit card here, okay? God says, don't do it, you don't do it. Burger King, and here's the thing about Burger King mentality. We want to do things our way. We want to have the choice to get it when we want it, if we want it. But here's the most ugly thing about the Burger King mentality. We make, and see if this is not true, We made God our servant. What does that mean? When you go to Burger King, do you place an order? No. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
They get the food for you.
Right or wrong.
Yeah, I have some people, yeah, right or wrong, they still get the food. Well, you gotta go back again. That's true.
Yeah.
Even if it's wrong, they still give it to you here. Well, you'll like it, here, try it.
Right.
It's for free.
It's close what you ordered.
Yeah, it is. This is real meat. This is not McDonald's, haha. You put in an order. I know people at a restaurant, if there's one rice out of whack, I don't want that. It looks funny. It tastes funny. It's not cold enough. It doesn't look right. It doesn't smell right. We do that with God.
Yep.
God asked for a beautiful woman, you gave me this. God asked for a handsome man, you gave me this. God asked for a Corvette, and you gave me a jalopy. How many of us have done that?
No.
All of us have.
No.
Lord, I don't like what you gave me. I don't like the house I'm living in. I want better. God, I don't like the job I'm in. I want better. You made a mistake. We tell God, you made a mistake.
Yeah,
This marriage fell because you made a mistake.
that's right.
I didn't get the job because you made a mistake. You're supposed to be God. You let my kid die. You let my daughter die. That's on you. We blame God for everything, do we?
Yep.
Forget the fact that you took drugs and the baby miscarried because it was your fault dealing in drugs and wine and alcohol. Forget the fact that the baby died because you got into a fight and you smacked the crap out of that woman's stomach and the baby died. Forget about that, right?
Right. Very true.
Mom, I had a bad marriage. Mom says you should listen.
Right.
Sometimes we have to learn the hard way. And parents, I'm going to tell you this because my parents did that. I respect my heck out of my parents.
Right.
My dad says, if I ever see you come home drunk, I will shoot you. And let me tell you, in the Latin community, we say what we mean.
Raise over a month.
Score face, you know?
Right.
You don't ever dishonor my family.
Nope.
I brought you into this world and I could take you out.
Amen.
And if you're going to start your life on the wrong foot, let me end it on both feet for you right now. You're not going to disgrace your future wife and family by being a drunken idiot. I'll take you out right now. Whew. You know what parents do today? That's all right. I did the same thing. I did the same thing, Bubba. No. No. Like Kathy says to the dogs, no. No. It stops here.
They stop, they might.
And they stop. They might better than most kids out there. They don't do it. But see, she has to put the fear of God in them. That's the key. And that's what it says here in verse 13. God has to put the fear in them to stop. You got to put the fear. God has to put the fear into us so we can stop.
Yes.
God has to take something away so we can actually say, okay, Lord, you got my attention. He may take away your best friend. If your best friend is keeping you from listening to God's word and obeying God, he's going to do it. Oh, he can and he will.
Yeah.
If that job is messing you up, goodbye, Joe.
Right.
If they're the wrong people in your life messing you up, those people are gone. G-O-N-E. And God says, I am your number one. I'm your first love and your only love.
That's true.
I'm your first love and your only love. And see, people, I want you to understand this because people don't get it. And I'll be the first one. You don't want to go into counseling with me because I'm just pretty blunt. Why'd you hit him? Sir, why did you make her hit you? Why? Why'd you leave him? Why'd you make her leave him?
Right.
Takes two.
Exactly.
He's not good enough? You think you're any better? Or are you trying to make him a better person? Or are you just ragging him on all the time? I would leave too if I was in his shoes. I don't need that. Woo! That's truth. Look what it says in verse 14. If my people, and God is saying to this is your choice, and here's your choice. If you're called by my name, if you really are named after me, if you are truly God's child, first thing you're going to do is you're going to humble yourselves and pray and seek my face. Humble, pray, seek, turn. Humble, pray, seek, turn. Humble, pray, seek, turn. You will seek my face and you will turn from your wicked ways. That means you will stop what you're doing about face, and go the other direction. That means you will stop what you're doing from this day forward. That means that you will seek my face. You're not going to seek anyone else's face but my face, God says. I am it. I am number one. I am the one in your life. You're going to humble yourself, which means you're going to actually admit to yourself that you know absolutely nothing. Amen. You're going to have to humble yourself, and you know how people are so opinionated and they think they know it all? You're going to have to come before God and says, I know nothing. I have no idea what I'm doing, Lord. And then I could hear the liberal theologian says, you're telling people that they're worthless. No, you don't understand, sir. Oh, I didn't say that. Look at John 15. What did John 15 say? What did he tell his disciples in John 15 verses 5 and 6? And I'm quoting this off the top of my head. John chapter 15 in verses 1 through 6 says this. Jesus says this. Without me, you're nothing. Now, was Jesus harsh? Was he cruel when he said that?
He was honest.
He was honest. So I'm just saying what he said. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm just quoting what he said. Jesus said this. Without me, you're nothing. That means you cannot even be a something. You can't be a minuscule of anything without Jesus. Without me. And he looked at his disciples and says, Peter, Matthew, John, without me, you're nothing. Now, Jesus was not in the business of building self-image. He was not in the business of pumping up our egos. He was in the business of being honest and real. And see, most churches are scared to say that to their people because they will leave without tithing. And they won't come back. And they won't be liked anymore. I want people to respect me. Do you understand that? Okay? I want them to respect me because I say what God says and I stand behind God. I don't care if you hate my guts sometimes. I can't stand Pastor Pete. All he does is just preach from this book. Well, praise God. Now, if I were to say, oh, I hate Pastor Pete, he's a drunk. I hate Pastor Pete, he's a wife beater. I hate Pastor... Now, that I can understand, and you have every right to hate my guts. But if people hate my guts for just speaking the truth, you know what? KMA, Bubba. KMA, because that's all I'm going to be. This is who God called me to be. He did not call me to be a comedian. He did not call me to be a politician. He did not call me to be anything else but to speak His word. My life changed at 18. I did not have a life. I had no life. My life is Him. How many concerts have you been to? How many concerts do you think I've been to?
0. 1.
So
On the
you
wall.
better claim one.
And they were Christian.
King of Country.
King and Country, Matt Lauer, Chris August.
Yep.
Only one I've ever been to.
That's
One.
me all.
You know when I went?
Amen.
I went last year. I was 46 years old when I went to my
Yeah.
first concert.
I'm all the way to North Austin.
Now let me ask you this question. Do you think God's going to bless you and God's going to praise you for all the concerts you've been to?
No.
Hello?
No.
No. I want to see Def Leppard. I want to see the Beatles. Whoopee! Did that enhance your life? Maybe you weren't bored for 2 or 3 hours, but you're right back into the same world, right? Right back into joblessness, no money, right back into the same miserable world we live in. Amen? Bingo! I won $400. 1 week later, where's your $400? I won the lottery. Oh yeah, 35% of that goes to taxes. Where's your money?
We're not $2 in my pocket.
I got $2 in my pocket. I could go buy me a snow cone. Folks, the world will give you much and it will take much. Amen. The world can promise you everything but give you nothing. People can promise you the world. And listen, women, to this question. Why would you fall for a guy that can promise you the sun, moon, and stars when it's not theirs to begin with?
Amen. Whoa.
Whoa, that was good.
True.
Write that down.
Amen.
Doesn't work. Let me tell you what works. Reality works. First date my mom and dad went in. First date, every date. My dad asked mom for up the wazoo many times to ask her out. Persistence won. On the 100th time, she accepted. He came to the door. She was all dressed up. Back in those days, Mexicans, we dress up. We just pretty simple. Okay? He came to the door and knocked. She opened the door. He was in his uniform. And she went, are we going now? He says, yeah. He came in his Pace Picante uniform. He worked at Pace. Hot sauce all day. You know what he said? He says, you're going to marry a working man, not a perfect man. You're going to be with a working man, not a rich man. I'm just letting you know right up front what kind of man you're going to be dealing with. How about that? I'm a working man. What you see is what you get. I don't put on any pretenses, Mama. This is it. You end up getting married. People of pretense will fool you. People of honesty will have you. And that's a fact. Jesus Christ he never pretends with us. He's honest with us. Jesus stands knocking at the door this evening and says, I'm here for you. I mean not what you want, but I'm what you need. You need me. Only after there's humility, prayer, seeking face, and turning from your wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven. Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive your sin and heal their land. Notice what's first. Forgiveness comes before healing. Forgiveness comes before anything. Forgiveness comes before blessing. Forgiveness comes before deliverance. Forgiveness comes before healing. God has to forgive you of your sins before he can do anything.
Yep.
Why? Because we are imperfect people. I know people are tired of hearing saying that, but that's fact, Jack. We're imperfect. We're sinners. Jesus has to cleanse us. He cleanses us with his blood. He cleanses every day from our sins. We have to repent of our sins. This nation has repented up the wazoo and said, Lord, forgive us because we have done wrong. We have committed sin. Only after forgiveness of sin comes the healing of the land. Now mine ears shall be opened and mine ears attent that the prayer is made in this place. For now I have chosen and sanctified this house, that there may come forever before me. And my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. Listen to this. But as for thee, if thou wilt walk before me as David your father did, and do according to all that I commanded thee, thou shalt observe my statutes and judgments. You know what? David was not a perfect man, but he was a darn good father, because he taught Solomon everything in God's word. And David commanded and taught Solomon, not on an optional basis, but he said, Solomon, you have to do this. You must do this. You must do this. You must do this. If you're going to lead the nation of Israel, you must do this. If you're going to have any relationship with God, you must do this. He was pretty direct and straightforward. There was not much joking going around when David talked to his son Solomon about the reality of having a relationship with God. He was about to lead a nation of people that depended on him, on his leadership, that depended on his strength. Boy, it really sucks when we depend on someone that has no strength, no vision, and no leadership. Right? The best they could do is go, well, it was his fault. It was his fault. It's your fault because you're not trying hard enough. What? I hope their father's listening out there. If you're away from your kid, get back to your kid. After you take them out for pizza and a lollipop, teach them right and wrong. Amen? That's what's going to stick with them. Pizza goes away. Gifts goes away. Movies goes away. Lessons learned, values, morals, that doesn't go away. Amen? Now, after we're done that, look what it says here in verse 18. After you do this, then will I establish the throne of the kingdom according to our covenant with you, David the father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man to be ruler of Israel. You follow these things, you be blessed. But look at but 19. But if you turn away, forget my statutes and my commandments, ignore them, throw them under the bus, say, I don't want to do this anymore, I quit. If you do this, which I have set before you, and should go and serve other gods, more pleasing gods, politically correct gods, gods of fashion, gods of music, gods that you make up, and worship them and be with them and have a relationship. You know that, here's the sad thing about God, our creator of us. We know more about the creature than the creator. Amen? We get excited about going to a concert and singing crap and singing music that you will never hear in heaven. But when we come to church and we sing about God, we don't hear anybody. He's our creator. He died for us. I love him. It says here, verse 20, then I will pluck them by the roots of my hand, which I have given them in this house. God says, I'm going to pluck you out from the root. And then the house that I sanctified, I'm going to leave. God says, I'm going to leave, in essence. You disobey me, you forsake me. The marriage is over. I'm gone. I don't know about you. Have you ever been rejected before? What if God tells you, I'm leaving? God says, I'm leaving you. I don't want to be in your life anymore. You can have it. You got it. You don't need my love. You don't need my forgiveness. You don't need my mercy. You don't need my blessings. You don't need my provisions. If you want it, you can have it. I don't know about you, but I never want to hear those words. Because when God leaves, He's not a yo-yo. Like some couples. Today they have reunited. 3 months later, they're separated. 3 months later, they're reunited. 3 months later, they're separated. Like a yo-yo.
Right.
God's not a yo-yo. And if He says bye, it's bye. Bye, bye, bye. Every time I hear a couple break up, I go, let's get back together. Because we're yo-yos. When it comes to sin, we're yo-yos. We could walk the dog, walk the pony, walk whatever. We're yo-yos. In the hands of sin, sin makes us do what sin wants us to do. Look at verses 21, 22. In this house which is high shall be astonished everyone that passeth by it, so that he should say, what the Lord hath done this into this land and into this house. And it shall be answered, because they forsook the Lord of the God of their fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, and laid hold to other gods, and they worshipped them and served them. Therefore He hath brought all this evil upon them. And notice this. God reminds us of every blessing He's done. Because they forsook the Lord, they were actually saying this: we forgot that you brought us out of the land of Egypt. We turn our back on you and worship other gods. And we love them, and we submitted to them, and we serve them. But we don't serve you, God. We serve them. The Judas spirit is a very real spirit. It betrays and it hurts people. And before you say that'll never happen to me, don't say that. Don't ever say it will never happen to me. It will never happen to my kids. Don't say that. It'll never happen in this country. Don't say that.
Already did.
It will happen and it can happen. Why? Because we're all human beings.
Yep.
Here is the life-changing, as we end this, here's the life-changing thing. If you want true blessing in your life, this is what's going to take. First of all, you got to get rid of this Burger King mentality. Okay? It is non-existent. I'm going to tell you something else too. You think you're good, you're not. We could always be better. Look what it says here. Look at verse 14. First, humility. Prayer. Submission. True repentance. The keys to a successful relationship in life. If you humble yourselves and seek my face, and turn from your wicked ways. If you do all this, and you have to do all, here's the thing about God. God does not grade on a curve. Okay? He doesn't say, well, you got 2 out of 4. That's great. You're passed. Nope, doesn't work. You got 3 out of the 4. I've done this, but repent I can't do. Well, God says, nope, you're still there. But Lord, I pray and I'm humble. Submit. Son, you got to do this. That's it. You have to do those things, and then God will hear us. He will forgive us, and then He will heal us. Look at verse 14. After you do the first 4 things, then God will says, I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Here's the concept to see. This was done for a nation. The United States of America needs to do this. Okay? We need to do the first 4. We haven't done any of the 4. Okay? Forgiveness and healing. And if we want this, we have to do this. Every single one of them. If we want to be forgiven and finally healing in our lives and make things right and make things blessed, we have to do this. That is the breakthrough today. That is the steps to a successful and blessed life. We have to do those things. Well, Pastor, will that help me in my personal life? Of course it will help you in your personal life. Come on. What about, no. Let's not do a Kayla and go debating here. You have to do all 4. You have to do all 4. You cannot do 3.5, 3 3/4, or 2. You have to do all 4. The devil doubts. If the devil had 2 occupations, it would be a politician and a lawyer. Always debating, always arguing. Did God really say that? Did God really mean that? Right? I've been operating on 1 lung today. I'm tired. God loves me though, and I love Him. And I'd do anything for Him. As we go in prayer, and for those out there that are watching, we've been on YouTube for a long time. And our viewership is we're approaching 900. And for a church in the woods, that's pretty good. But see, I don't care about how many is watched. Here's what I care about. Of those that have watched, has your life been changed? Has Jesus changed your life? That's what I care about. Has God bettered your life? If you're already a Christian, has He improved and bettered your life if you've done those things? See, I'm not offering you a pill. I'm not offering you a drink. I'm not offering you a club membership. I'm not offering anything. All we offer here is Jesus. And that's enough. That's it. You can't do better than Jesus. As we bow our heads, I want you to think seriously about it. And I do this too. Being a Christian today is hard. It is hard.
Yes. But it's easy too.
But I want to tell you something. It's easy to quit. It's easy to give up. It's easy to say, God, I can't do this. I need a divorce. God, it's easy to do that sometimes. I feel like my life is passing. What life is passing you by? What's passing you by? What? When I was growing up, I thought life passed me by, and then I look back and I said, what in the heck did I miss? Nothing. Think about this in your life and compare it to the life that God gave me. You may have seen concerts and you may have seen beautiful things and you may have experienced great things in my life. Let me tell you what I experienced growing up. I've seen men with alcohol problems come to the front and leave them at the feet of Jesus and they were healed. I've seen people that couldn't walk. I've seen that people that couldn't see. I've seen that people on the brink of divorce next week are like lovebirds again. They rediscovered their love. I've seen things that you will never see anywhere else. I've seen people on the brink of death being healed. I tell you, I will never trade my life for nothing. Because I've seen the hand of God. And I've seen the blessing of God. And I want that. Does your life compare to that? I don't know, Pastor. We could start today. Today could be the first day of the rest of your life. Really. Today, God will, if you are serious and you want to dedicate your life to God, God will bless you and God will show you things that the world will never provide for you. God will show you, you will be a part of things that will just boggle your mind. How do you think the disciples were when they saw a few loaves of bread and fishes and fed 5,000 people? That just boggled my mind, did it? How was it? Were you there when Lazarus was raised from the dead, when Jesus says, Lazarus, come forth? Have you seen that? I want to tell you something. I want that. I want to see people raised from the dead. And I want to see people on the brink of death healed. Mr. Ed's an example of that right here. He's a walking miracle. He should have been dead. There were 4 spots in his brain. Now they're gone.
Praise the Lord.
Next time you go out, see if you see that where you go. Next time you get high, you can't be higher than Jesus. You want to get drunk? Get drunk with the Spirit.
Amen. No hangover.
No hangover. No menudo afterwards. And here's the one. That's the one place where you're allowed to stay drunk.
Amen.
If you want to quit, I'll give you a list of things to quit. Quit smoking. Quit drinking. Quit carousing. Those are good quitters.
Yes.
Don't quit on life. Don't quit on Jesus. Don't quit on God, because they will never quit on you. They will never betray you. They will never stab you in the back. They will always be there for you because they love you. When they say they love you, they mean it. As we bow our heads. Lord, I pray for myself. Forgive me. Forgive me, Lord, for being petty. I want people to respect me. Do you understand? Because respect goes a lot longer way than anything else in this world. In the military, they fight for honor and respect. In the Christian world, it says to honor your father and mother, which means to respect them. We're supposed to do that with our leaders, not civil leaders, leaders in the church. You're supposed to respect them. There's a difference. You're supposed to respect the heads of household. We're not supposed to be popular, multiculturalist, elite people that know more about crappy things than God. It doesn't work that way. Lord, help us to know more about your Bible, your word. Help us to know about your will, not our will. Help us to know about your way, not our way. Lord, we lay everything at your feet tonight. Everything. Everything. We don't want it. We're tired of carrying the baggage of doubt, insecurity, mistrust, illness, addictions. We're tired of it, Lord. We want to give that up. Tonight is the night when we say no more. No more. It is over. I'm tired of, and Lord, forgive us for trying to live a life that's not ours. Give us a life that we're supposed to live for you. Help us not to look in front of us, but help us to look ahead of us. Help us to look up and not around us. This evening, as we come to you in prayer, I'm going to ask a stupid question, but I don't expect a stupid answer. Can you ever get too much God? Can you ever get too much church? Can you ever get too much spirit? Hello, listen to this. Can you get too much God? Can you get too much spirit?
No.
Can you get too much church?
No.
Can you ever get too much of a good thing?
No.
I've heard Christians say they're tired of it. I've heard Christians say, I have enough Jesus for today. Whoa. I had enough being good for today. I'm gonna, what is it? What's the old song say? Angel in his arms and the devil by night and someone else's arms? Bob Mandrell song? I don't know. I heard that. Don't ask me, I just heard it.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Johnny Lee, looking for love in all the wrong places. You can find love in all the wrong places. It's real easy.